Hey guys, nothing important here today, and today we are with the Cool Geek. Say hello.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? The Cool Geek
And today
here.
we're going to debate Dark in the Moon, Optimus Prime versus Madara equal stats. So, you want me to start on Optimus, or do you want to start on Madara? Because this will be a bit of a weird debate.
You can start on Optimus.
Okay, so first things first. Since the thing about the soul is going to come up first, I'm gonna go ahead and counteract that. So, uh, in Transformers, right? Well, in Transformers the movies, right? Optimus Prime's soul is also his heart, and that's within the Matrix leadership, right? But the Matrix is earned; it's not given. So no matter how much Madara wants to rip out the Matrix, he'll just pop back in Optimus Prime's chest.
Okay.
You're quiet if you're trying to talk. I can't hear you. What are you trying to say?
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna argue that he can just BFR Optimus to one of his little pocket dimensions with
Is it in
by using.
character from the BFR?
Say again.
Is it in character for him to BFR?
Um. Uh. Only if he has to when he's because he likes to play around with his opponents. But once he sees that they're an actual threat, like say right after he got his third eye, he was like, okay, Naruto and Sasuke, I need to take these guys out, right? I'm gonna go full power, and then he was about to BFR destroy them, and that's when he got plotted out of.
Okay, so in Transformers, you know how like whenever you have various weapons, they can multiply your AP.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Optimus Prime's Knuckle Dusters in Dark of the Moon is multiplies the AP of his punches and his overall AP by about 5 times. We know this because of how much damage he does to Shockwave. And we see him throw another punch at Shockwave's face. So we can deduce it's at least 2 to 10 times the multiplier. 5 times being the medium for the AP boost in Dark of the Moon. What's gonna stop Optimus Prime from just one-shotting Madara with his knuckle dusters?
It's because Madara has insane regeneration. He'd just be able to regenerate if he got like say half his body blown off, like in his fight against Mike Guy. He was able to.
Okay, so Optimus Prime does have something that would allow him to destroy you on the atomic level. So he does have missile launchers. He has a chainsaw. Plus, he also has a force field with him from Bear. So,
Yeah.
you remember how I talked about before how Optimus Prime actually has a barrier?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this nano shield actually protects him from attacks that are both physical and energy based.
Okay.
So he could just roll right up the Madara with a rocket launcher and then blow him the ash.
Okay. I'd argue he would have defenses against that since he has the truth-seeking orbs. One of the main things he uses in his arsenal, which do kind of a similar thing. They destroy the opponent on a beyond molecular level because the particle style destroys people on a molecular level, and the truth-seeking orbs were
Okay.
created a.
Okay, but Optimus Prime's force field is what protects him from that.
Okay. Let me think. Would Optimus Prime be able to defend against Madara's Limbo clones, which Optimus wouldn't even be able to see because they exist on a separate plane of reality altogether?
They throw physical attacks, right?
Sometimes they also throw spiritual attacks, uh, as well as different energy-based attacks.
Okay, so Optimus Prime's nano shield actually does protect him from energy and physical attacks. Because what happens if you try to hit the barrier, you're going to be repelled by the aftershock.
Okay.
So he would actually have a degree of protection against the Limbo clones.
Okay, would he have any defenses against Madara's Genjutsu, that be it basic or the infinite Tsukuyomi? which would be able to work on even beings without chakra.
Okay, so this is a mind hack.
Yeah, correct.
What's the nature of the mind hack? How is it applied?
It messes with the okay, it injects the user's energy into the target without them knowing, and then controls them via their nervous system, and then the chakra that is injected is then used to kind of create a sort of even if it's not per se like a human sort of anatomy, it can create that sort of environment, as shown when Sasuke with the base Sharingan was able to put Manda under a genjutsu. Manda is a sage creature that is really different. Also able to mind hacks the tailed beasts, and the tailed beasts don't even have brains.
Well, so this is thrown as an attack, right?
I mean, sort of. I mean, Madara just like blinks, and then his genjutsu is cast on
Well,
the
yeah, what?
beast.
Yeah, but you said injected with chakra, right? So
Yeah,
this would mean that'd be thrown as an attack, a bit subtly, correct?
right.
Yeah. So Optimus Prime's force field would allow him to have protection against those kinds of attacks, because of the fact it can repel, say, energy physical attacks. It can also repel, say, Megatron's left drain.
Okay.
This was shown because Soundwave. Sorry. Got it. So,
Oh,
this was actually hold on. So this was shown because right as soon as Optimus Prime's force field activated in Dark of the Moon, the game, Soundwave told Megatron that none of your attacks would work on Optimus. Right, and this is after Soundwave sees Megatron's life drain attack. So he'd already known something of that level wouldn't work either.
okay. Let me think. Okay. Okay. Let me think. Um. Okay. So, did I already bring up the BFR?
You did, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna press that point further, and I'm just gonna say that soon as Optimus hits Madara with the knuckle dusters, and Madara has to regenerate, really get serious and try and throw Optimus in another dimension, like he tried to
Yeah,
do with the last.
so let's go over that then. So, first things first, how long does it take for Madara to regenerate his attacks?
Um, it's it takes maybe a half a second, give or take, because he just kind of like blinked and he was back together.
Yeah, so that's all Optimus is gonna need to just roll up, see the regen, and then blow him to ash, right? And then the BFR attack, you said he throws it, right?
Well, no, he just kind of makes a portal that closes around the opponent by like, it's basically kind of like the Kamui, right? So at the focal point, whatever he's looking at will create a portal around the opponent, taking them to another dimension before they can, like, and they won't be able to escape.
All right. So, has he ever been blinded before?
Um, uh, like, yeah, sort of. He can be blinded, except he'd still be able to know where everything is at because he has six path sage mode, and it's constantly being active. So even if he can't physically see you, he can still sense where you are, because of, like I said, six path sage mode, and then he can. It's still at the focal point of his vision. Even if he can't actually see, it's still like what he would be looking at, which he'd be able to calculate. He is a genius, so he'd just be able to calculate where you are and use it anyway.
Yeah, okay. So, all right. So, now keep in mind that the Matrix is bound to reality. So this pocket dimension, which would try to teleport Optimus, could be interpreted as trying to move the Matrix. And because the Matrix is bound to reality, it can't really be moved out of that dimension. And because that's bound to Optimus Prime, that would just keep him bound to the dimension.
Okay. Does Optimus have any defense against matter manipulation? Since Madara does have matter manipulation because he has yin yang release, he has access to the creation of all things technique. So he could just warp Optimus into, say, I don't know, a jawbreaker
Well, it generally
there.
depends uh how he throw the attack because the force field in Dark of the Moon is passive.
Okay.
It's
Um.
yeah, it's also much the shield is also much stronger than Optimus itself in terms of defense. So,
Okay. Um.
because how's the attack thrown actually?
Madara just has to touch you, sort of similar to how the Sage of Six Paths was just able to touch the ten tails and split it into nine separate tailed beasts, all with their own unique abilities, personalities, etc.
He'd likely be thrown off because of the barrier if he tried that.
Okay. Um.
Now, I know the thing about the whole Limbo clones, but I did kind of talk about her earlier. How Optimus Prime's shield actually does protect him from stuff like that.
Right. Um. Okay, how much stronger than himself is the shield? Because I'd argue since Madara's Limbo clones should be able to create Limbo clone. I mean, sorry, his Limbo clone should be able to create Wood clones that they could just overpower the shield.
Well, how much stronger than the character is the Wood clones? Well, you can answer that in a second. So, we don't really know. All we know is that we can lowball and say 10 times, but if we want to like midball, we can say 20 times.
Okay.
But that's a rough ballpark estimate. We don't really have too much information on that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna argue that Madara, his Limbo clone, should be able to make the same amount of Wood clones as he can make, which would be 25 Wood clones each. And even if you say not each, even if they just create 25 Wood clones, which would be equal to the original Limbo clones, and they'd also be invisible. That 25 to 100 Wood Limbo clones would be able to break through the shield and therefore damage Optimus Prime and killing him.
All right. So, well, first things first, Optimus Prime does have death revival because of the Matrix. Second, have these wood clones shown? Excuse me. Has Madara shown to be able to manipulate his Limbo clones to do that?
No, they can just act independently, but they have been shown to use different things like Susanoo and other things like that.
Hmm.
And also,
But
Madara has
yeah,
never really went full
but
power.
from what I can understand, right? Unless you're like either Yamato, aren't the wood clones like very specific to like say the Hashirama bloodline?
Well, yeah, if
Like,
you
what?
have Hashirama cells, you can use the wood clones. And Madara did have Hashirama cells implanted in his body right before he died the first time. He actually had it grafted, so that's why when he was revived with the Edo Tensei, he was able to use wood clones, deep forest emergence, that one flower jutsu, etc. That's another thing. Does Optimus Prime have poison resistance?
He does. Yeah, the shield.
Okay, okay.
So first
But
things first, right? Just
yeah,
because these wood clones, right, might be
yeah.
able to say do damage over time, it doesn't mean it's that much stronger than the shield because you have to be stronger than the shield to destroy it.
Okay.
And since the
Um,
stats are equal in this case, right, that would just mean say the wood clones would be say maybe relative or a little bit above say the limbo clones, which are say relative to Madara.
yeah.
Plus, I doubt they do a combined attack since Madara isn't really one to use, say, team attacks in character all that often.
True. Okay. Um. Let's see.
Now, we should probably go back to Optimus because I haven't really gave much of a condition for Optimus. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so we've already discussed earlier before we went to the Madara's hacks, but what Optimus has to do, right, is that he'd have to like dissect Madara, like shoot him to death, punch him to death, stab him to death, see what works, right?
Yeah.
Over time, he'd have to realize that he'd have to atomize him, and to atomize him, he'd have to pull out his rocket launcher or say his energon blades. Since his energon blades, which are hotter than the surface of the sun, by the way, are like literally so hot it can like melt your cells. We know that because it can pierce energon armor, which not energon armor, but Cybertronian armor, which is skin of the Transformers.
Right.
So he would have to slowly break down Madara and then try to handle his attacks while he has to say his backpack on, with say his both his machine gun slash missile launcher arms. He'd have to pull out his shoulder missile launcher. He'd have to do so many things to figure out that he'd have to atomize Madara, right?
Right.
Does Madara has Madara ever dealt with anything like Optimus before? Like, well, besides the whole giant robot shit.
Well, actually, yeah, he's fought against Hashirama's giant 1,000 arm wooden Gundam thing, quite a few times.
Okay, so not the wood clones. I mean, obviously the wood clones, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna. I mean, they're gonna burn. They're likely gonna burn because, like Naruto, follows like basic laws of physics. Like, say,
Well,
wood can
not
burn, water can boil, etc., etc.
well, yeah, but not necessarily. See, Madara has fought against Hashirama and used a fire style jutsu on one of Hashirama's clones, Hashirama's wood clones, and it didn't burn for some reason. I thought that was a bit weird, but I mean, that it didn't.
Well, can you like show that? By the way,
Let's see if I can find it.
because I'll take your word for it since we're having more of a lax debate. Because it's mainly like done for fun. So
Okay. And even if you say it was maybe just a Hashirama thing or something, um, even if it does burn, right, Madara can like just release it and make it well, that was a Shadow Clone exclusive ability, never mind.
yeah, so
Well, okay, so even if the wood clones burn, you can just make more.
okay, so from what I can gather, right, Madara is going to do so that Optimus isn't really someone to mess with. They're going to try to probably kill him from the start using, say, his Limbo clones, right?
Right.
That's not going to work. So Optimus Prime would have to Madara's doing something. So probably have to break Madara's concentration on the Limbo clones. Since I'm aware of the fact that Madara has to concentrate to keep the clones up, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me look at the scan because I know what you're talking about. Except it's not really. I don't think it was a concentration thing. It's just they're only like a limited like time, if I remember. Like they don't go too far away from him. Here,
Okay,
let me find
so
what they.
so like he's gonna try to jump Madara. The clones, since they have their own mind, won't be able to deduce the fact that Optimus is as much a threat to them as say Madara. Although Optimus won't be able to harm the clones at all whatsoever. He'd have to kill Madara in order to deal with the clones, and to do that, he'd have to atomize Madara, which again I've said because of rocket launchers, swords, etc., etc.
Okay, let me see. I'm reading the scan right now. Yeah, it's not that he needs okay, let me see. It's not that he needs like concentration. It's just that they have to like it takes like a few seconds for him to like spawn the limbo clones. and that they can't go too far away from
Okay, so since Optimus is consistently in character does attempt close range combat at the start of the fight, he don't want Madara to keep him from spawning the clones and probably like literally atomize Madara to death till he's no longer there. Like that's the only thing I can say for Optimus.
Okay, I think Madara would counter the atomization with his own beyond atomization blocking truth-seeking orbs because it has like it was stated that the particle style does atomize objects and the truth-seeking orbs are a more advanced version of that and have and are able to outpace it.
Okay, so I'm aware that the truth seeking orbs is like ever take what like five times your full power, right?
Give or take.
Yeah, so he could try to destroy him with the knuckle dusters. After all, that's the first thing he went to after he jumped Shockwave because he knew Shockwave can't really do close range combat that well.
True, but Madara can also fuse the truth-seeking orbs together, just like Obito did, and they become stronger. Like versus Might Guy, Might Guy was able to punch through three truth-seeking orbs, I believe it was, and while using the eighth gate. But Naruto and Sasuke, when they used their Susanoo QB thing, when Naruto was in KCM2 Sage mode, and Sasuke got that one weird Jugo amp, they were not able to bust through a similar sort of barrier made up of I think it was all of the truth seeking orb. But
So you mentioned Obito did this, right? As
yeah,
Madara
Obito
shown to do this in
did the
here.
well yeah because Madara did the one with three truth seeking orbs and Obito did the same thing but with just more truth seeking orbs. But Obito knew he was fighting stronger opponents also.
Yeah, so Madara would do this only if he knew the Optimus was a threat, right? And he'd have to initiate it. He won't be able to do it instantaneously.
Well, the truth seeking orbs have the same reaction time as him.
So they're independent of using.
Right, exactly. They can like they basically are kind of similar to the Limbo clones in fact that they just like move around and stuff to like protect Madara as long as Madara is like engaged in combat.
Okay, so Optimus would likely have to like manipulate his shield, like say grab the orb since the shield is much stronger than the both of them, and just try to destroy it that way.
Uh you said he
Because
like
he's not
grabbed
really shown to grab Megatron during their fight. He was more or less trying to stay away from Megatron because he knew while he wouldn't be affected by the fusion cannon, what it was is that he wanted to stay safe, right? But since he's going
right.
to see Madara as a threat in this case, and he knows he's relative to him in power, along with him having a shield, he would likely just keep the shield on, and try to grab the truth-seeking orbs. And since the shield would be around Optimus, it'd likely destroy the orbs.
Okay, okay. Um let me think. Let's see. Uh um okay, do you think Madara, I mean sorry, not Madara. Do you think Optimus Prime would be able to get through a barrier around Madara composed entirely of truth-seeking orbs because he has shown to make one shield with all of his truth-seeking orbs when he was about to use the infinite Tsukuyomi.
He would likely, he won't be able to break through the shield from that. What he'd have to do is that he'd have to use his dusters,
Okay.
since the barrier goes around his body along with his weapons.
Okay.
So he would quite literally have to break through the shield and slowly break Madara down piece by piece till he dies.
Okay. Um let's see. Uh, well, I'd argue Madara would it would probably like even if he hit Madara and tried to atomize him, I'd argue he'd be able to come back with Izanami. Um, because even say like uh like how the Rinnegan, right? It allows you to spam Izanagi and Izanami and such. Um, and even say Donzo, when he had a less perfect version, was still able to come back to life from say getting completely like all of his like flesh, etc., was completely destroyed, and he was still able to come back in his fight with Sasuke. So I'd argue Madara would be able to do the same thing, considering he has more skill with Izanagi and Izanami. Uh, and he has more knowledge. Like he's read up on the Stone Uchiha tablet, which Danzo did not read. He just kind of figured it out since he had the Sharingan.
Okay, so I'm actually aware of why Madara didn't come back since he couldn't actually, since that was after the whole Kaguya thing. But to what level does it bring you back? Does it bring you back from the atomic level? Does it bring you back to the spiritual level? Like what?
It should be able to bring him back from the molecular level.
Okay, so I've actually used this argument before, but I never had to use it in a while. But Optimus Prime could likely try to steal Madara using the Matrix. He's never really shown this in the movies, since he doesn't really know that he can do that. But he likely could do that if he could figure it out during the fight. But that would just go into sophistry. So,
Well,
uh,
Madara has broken out of ceiling before, like when he broke out of Shikaku's ceiling. Um, like he just like manifested his Susanoo and then just like busted out of the seal.
yeah. So basically, it's going to be inconclusive. So we won't be able to actually have an actual winner. Optimus Prime doesn't actually have anything to finally kill Madara. Madara is going to keep coming back from the dead because that shield Optimus has is going to protect him. So
I agree.
I guess that's it. I guess that's it. I guess that's it.
I guess that's it.
It just either Madara's gonna win because he's either going to introduce that shield over time, or he's not gonna be able to break the shield and it'll just be inconclusive because the entire time.
Yep.
Oh God. Well, this is my first one in a while, so yeah. Yeah, so what
Yeah,
time is it for you right now actually?
it's 12:08. Like in the afternoon.
Yeah, so it's 2:08 for me, but I brought in the bot at 1:39.
Okay.
Well, so anyway, if you guys like this little debate, uh, come sub to me if you're if you're seeing this on Cool Geek's channel, and of course, if this is on my channel, go sub to Cool Geek. So, yeah, that's the debate. By Cool Geek, I'll let you end it off.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. The Cool Geek out, Bob.
See ya. Ciao. Come on.